In the quiet of a desert night, under a sky spangled with stars, a young man named Jacob found himself alone, far from the familiar embrace of his home. He was running, not just from the anger of his brother Esau, but from the very consequences of his own cunning and deceit. This is not the story of a hero's journey or a tale of glory. It's the story of a man who, through his actions, set in motion a series of events that would change the course of history. Jacob's story is one of transformation, of a man who, in his darkest hour, encountered the divine. Jacob was the younger of twin brothers, born to Isaac and Rebekah. From the beginning, he was marked by a cunning that often bordered on deceit. His older brother, Esau, was a man of the outdoors, a hunter and a warrior. Jacob, on the other hand, preferred the comfort of his tent and the company of his mother. This contrast in their personalities set the stage for a rivalry that would define their lives. One day, while Esau was famished from a hunting trip, Jacob convinced him to sell his birthright for a bowl of lentil stew. It was a bargain that would haunt Esau and set the stage for Jacob's next act of betrayal. When Isaac, their father, grew old and blind, he decided to bless his firstborn, Esau. However, Rebekah, favoring Jacob, hatched a plan to ensure that the blessing would go to her younger son. She dressed Jacob in Esau's clothes and placed animal skins on his hands and neck to simulate the hairy texture of his brother. With his father's failing senses, Jacob succeeded in deceiving Isaac and received the blessing meant for Esau. The repercussions were immediate and severe. Esau, upon learning of the deception, vowed to kill Jacob. Fearing for his life, Jacob fled his home, setting out on a journey that would take him to the land of Haran. As night fell, Jacob found himself in a desolate place, far from any village or sign of life. Exhausted and alone, he gathered some stones and used them as a pillow, lying down to rest. It was there, under the vast expanse of the night sky, that he had a dream that would forever change his life. In his dream, he saw a ramp that reached from the earth to the heavens. Angels were ascending and descending the ramp, and at the top, he saw the presence of God. In this divine vision, God spoke to Jacob, promising to be with him, to protect him, and to bless him. God promised that Jacob's descendants would be as numerous as the dust of the earth, and that they would inherit the land. When Jacob awoke, he was awestruck by the realization that he had encountered the divine in this seemingly insignificant place. He took the stone he had used as a pillow and set it up as a pillar, pouring oil on it as a sign of consecration. He named the place Bethel, which means house of God. In that moment, Jacob made a vow to God, promising that if God would be with him and provide for him, he would serve God and give a tenth of all he received as a tithe. This encounter marked the beginning of Jacob's transformation. From a man of deceit and cunning, he began to grow in faith and trust in God. His journey to Haran was not easy. He faced many challenges and trials, but throughout it all, he held on to the promise that God had given him. When he arrived in Haran, he met Rachel, the daughter of his uncle Laban. It was love at first sight, and Jacob agreed to work for Laban for 7 years to earn the right to marry her. However, on the night of the wedding, Laban tricked Jacob and gave him Rachel's older sister, Leah, instead. Jacob was forced to work for another 7 years to marry Rachel. Despite the challenges, Jacob's faith in God remained strong. He continued to trust in the promises God had made to him. Over the years, he became a successful shepherd, and his family grew. Eventually, he returned to the land of his fathers, facing the prospect of reconciliation with his brother Esau. The night before their meeting, Jacob had a profound encounter with a mysterious figure, who some interpret as a manifestation of God. In this encounter, Jacob wrestled with the figure until dawn, refusing to let go until he received a blessing. It was in this moment that Jacob's name was changed to Israel, meaning one who struggles with God. Jacob's journey from a deceiver to a man of faith is a testament to the power of divine intervention and the transformative nature of encountering the divine. His story is not one of perfect virtue, but of growth and redemption. It is a reminder that even in our darkest moments, when we feel alone and afraid, God is present, offering us a path to transformation and a promise of a future filled with hope and purpose. In the end, Jacob's encounter at Bethel was not just a moment of divine revelation. It was the beginning of a lifelong journey of faith. His story continues to inspire and challenge us, reminding us that no matter how far we may stray, God is always ready to guide us back to the path of righteousness. The conclusion of Jacob's story is simple. He found God in the most unexpected place, and through that encounter, his life was forever changed.